What's happening? Of course, you know it's your boy B High Radio Shout In. As always, I got my podcast partner in the building with me, OG Gangsta Wicked, a Ghetto Mafia.
Man, you know, today, bruh, you know what I'm saying? I feel like money.
You feeling like money?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I told you money looked good on me, so I had to go get, you know what I'm saying, a real player.
Talk to me.
You know, who bout that money.
I mean, I know when you told me that he was coming in, I had to do research on him to make sure that you weren't lying to me. When I did the research, I was like, my God, this man gets busy.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Come
sir.
on now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Keith Presley, what's good with it, boss?
Man, everything is everything and nothing is still nothing.
I mean, you done came in here with the stuff, man. $1,000 book on deck.
On point.
Just talk to me about this book right here, man. I mean, first of all, it's heavy as hell, so I know it's got nothing but jewels straight up in this thing. Memoirs of a Hustler. It's a dirty game.
Indeed. It's right here. It's a dirty game, man. You know, that book is my baby.
Yeah.
The book is heavy because the content is heavy.
Yeah.
The aesthetic is heavy, and it matches the content of the book. So I came up with a concept to sell a book for $1,000. Only sell 1,000 copies. It's one of 1,000. 1,000 times 1,000 equal $1 million.
Yes, sir.
And you know, you got my background, you got my pedigree, and I deal in millions. I don't deal in thousands per se. But you know, it don't come too small to it come at all. 1,000 times 1,000, $1 million. Nobody can question the title of KP and millionaire being like MC Hammer too legit.
We just talked about
Hammer, so we know we with you right now.
Yes,
okay,
yes,
Keith.
sir. Yes,
take
sir.
us to day one, though, man. Growing up in Chicago, what was that like for you, man? And how did you find yourself in the game?
Well, the first chapter of my book is called Good Boy Gone Bad because I wasn't raised to be in the streets.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't get in the streets until I was 21 years old.
Mm-hmm.
I was grown, and it was a situation where someone I knew and trusted had made that decision. I figured if it was good enough for him, it was good enough for me. And I navigated from that point on, and it was like, for me, it was instant success. The things I did, it probably take the average person at least a year to do. I did in 45 days. Like my first 45 days in the game, I had $30,000 cash. Like that was mine. And
how do you make that kind of money per se in 30 goddamn days, man?
The crazy part about it is I made the $30,000 while I was in college. Like I was a college student. So $30,000 on a college campus is like $300,000 because my rent was $125 back then.
My God.
My rent, the rent for the place was like, it was $500, so it was four of us, so it was $125 a piece. So I'm going back a little bit further because actually when I started here, it was $125, and then when I went back the next semester, I got my own place with a jacuzzi and a fireplace and all that stuff for $400 a month.
Yeah.
So I started off clowning without a bozo license, man. It just was like that, for real.
I mean, who approached you to bring you into the game, though?
No one approached me. Like I said, a friend of mine, I saw him doing it on the campus. Like it was like complete. I was in disbelief because we both had very similar backgrounds. We were star athletes. We both got a scholarship to the same school. We both was raised not to be in the streets, to go to college and get a degree and so on and so forth. And when I seen him do it, it inspired me to do it. And he got in and got out. He's a millionaire right now. I don't know if he's a multi-millionaire, but he's definitely a millionaire right now. And I'm keeping the momentum going.
Come on now.
Yes, sir.
Being in college at that time, man, what was it like when you realized that, okay, I done made $30,000 in 45 days, and should I be going to school or should I be making this money?
So in the article I did in As Is, I basically said when I first started selling drugs, I was a college student that was selling drugs, and then after I made $30,000, I became a drug dealer that was in college because I wasn't a small town. I became, and that's not, I was getting a quarter key after like 60 days, and that's a lot of drugs to be on a college campus, So, and even though I wasn't just selling all my drugs on a college campus like that, but I became a drug dealer like overnight. And the crazy part about the whole scenario is that I didn't even know what a drug dealer was until I became one, because I lived a very square, normal life. You know what I'm saying?
What were you in school for at that particular time?
I majored in computer management.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so now with the drugs comes the streets now. So how the hell did you transition from being in college to being in the streets hustling at the same time too? Because I mean, if you're moving weight out here, you're dealing with some real deal characters.
Yeah, well, every facet of the game has its own story. So even though I was selling drugs, I didn't consider myself in the streets because I wasn't really selling it in the streets like that. I wasn't a street person. I started selling it to people that I knew already. And then when I was on the college campus, a gentleman that was familiar with the white people, because back then a bag of cocaine cost $25. And no black people had no $25. So he was selling it to the white people. And so that's how I was able to get that part off. But it wasn't the street element didn't come until maybe a year later. The street part of it.
Okay.
You know.
So now you in school moving and shaking. At what point did you say, okay, I need to do this full time and make the full transition out of school? And
after I graduated, I was a full-time drug dealer.
Okay, so hold up. So you managed to finish school at the same time while you was getting all the money.
Yes.
So how are you going cram session? Because computer management ain't no punk.
Oh no, for
either.
sure. No. So the way I set my schedule up is I set my college schedule up to where I went to school only on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So I would leave class. I would leave the college campus and go back to Chicago Thursday night and hustle from Thursday night, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and then come back either Tuesday morning when my class probably started 8 or 9. I probably leave Chicago like 5 in the morning, 5 or 6, and get back to class, do my classes, and so on and so forth. So I made it. When I made my schedule, I made it conducive to integrate my hustling part of it. And I still consider myself a college student first, even though I was hustling, because I never made that transit. I never wanted to become what I became. It just evolved organically. Yeah. I never set out to be like, oh, I'm gonna be this guy, I'm gonna do this. It grew. I mean, like, I in one of these articles or one of these interviews, I said I equated to somebody who tried out for the basketball team just to get a girlfriend and end up making it to the NBA and being an all-star. And that's what I did. You know, I got in the game to make $500, and I ain't gonna put millions and millions of dollars later. You know, that's the truth. I mean, this is not. What I notice is a lot of guys that do podcasts and people interviewing, they got a whole lot of hamburger helper with their story. I don't have no hamburger helper with my story. Everything I say, I quoted from my paperwork with the Fed say, ABC. Yeah. So it's documented that I was a high-level hustler, and I was successful. And the more successful you are, the more they try to bury your black ass. My God.
How long was your run from college until you found yourself in the Fed?
Well, I graduated in December of '87, and I made it to the Fed. Well, actually, my first case was a state case, 1999. So I wouldn't say I had a 12-year run, but 12 years basically without getting in any kind of real trouble. And you know, it don't take long to get rich in the dope game. Like if you really got a plug, and know how to hustle and know how to manage your money and all the other madness that come along with the game, you can be rich in months. You don't need no years. All these years and stuff, man, that's just on some greed stuff, man.
What was your management system? I mean, how did you apply your education to your hustle at the same time too? And how you ran your organization? That's why
I was successful, because I never was a drug dealer. I was always a businessman. It was always a business to me, so that's why I was able to elevate and escalate quickly, because I understood this was a business. And when I set it up as a business, and it became from a small mom and pop store into a corporate business.
Exactly. At what point did it become a dirty game?
Ooh, wow. It became a dirty game quickly. Because you know, people were sending people to my mom's house, was getting raided and all that stuff, and that was like within the first year. So I'm like, damn, how my house get raided? And then you come to find out it's one of your friends, or quote, I'm supposed to be friends. Yeah. I mean, it's always somebody you know, man. I can't tell them nothing about you. You can't tell them nothing about me, because you don't know me. You don't know where I stay or nothing. So it's always somebody that's next to you, man, that's hating on you. So it became a dirty game early for me, and then it became really, really dirty when I really hit the apex and really found out the people that was really laughing at my face and throwing a knife in my back at the same time, you know.